Sheikh Hamdan's girlfriend sent his wife a message and changed everything she sent it. After years of existing in the specific invisibility that the private world of Sheikh Hamdan had always required of the people inside it. After years of being the part of his life that the official story declined to acknowledge, the relationship that the palace had spent enormous resources keeping separate from the official one, the woman whose existence was managed so carefully that most people close to the official version of his life did not even know for certain that she was real. She sent a message to his wife directly from her own phone with her own name attached, without the buffer of the management or the distance of the private channel that had always kept the two worlds from touching. She reached across the line that had always existed between the private world and the official one, and she put something into the hands of the woman whose husband she had been loving for years. And the something she put there changed the shape of everything that happened after. She had not sent it impulsively. That is the first thing to understand about what she did and why. She was not a woman who acted impulsively. The years of the private relationship, the specific discipline required to exist in the margins of someone's official life without making the existence visible in ways the management could not contain had produced in her a quality of deliberateness that made impulsive action almost foreign to her character. She thought before she moved. She understood the consequences before she produced them. She knew when she sat down to compose the message exactly what she was doing and exactly what the doing of it was going to produce. She sent it because she had decided that what it was going to produce was something she was willing to be responsible for, something she believed needed to happen, something that the official world's management of the private one had made impossible through any other means. The decision to send it came from a specific moment. Not the first time she had considered it. She had probably considered it during every period when the official world had made its demands on the private one in ways that cost more than she was willing to quietly absorb. But the specific moment that moved the consideration into action was a moment, something the palace had done, some decision that had been made about the private world, without consulting the people whose lives the private world contained, had crossed a line that she had not articulated as a line until it was crossed. Something about what was being asked of her and of the children and of the private life she had been building. Something in the specific form of that particular demand made her understand that the silence she had been maintaining was not protecting anything worth protecting at the cost it was extracting. And the understanding moved her from consideration to action. The message itself was not an accusation, not the kind of communication designed to wound or to produce a specific reaction of pain in the person receiving it. It was more honest than that. She told the truth in the specific, clear, undramatic way of someone who has decided that honesty is what the situation requires and who is not going to complicate the honesty with the emotional performance that honesty can sometimes be wrapped in when the person delivering it needs something more than the delivery itself. She told Sheikha what she was. She told her who she was to Hamdan, not in the managed official deniable form that the private world had always been described in when it was described at all, but honestly. She told her about the children, about the years, about the home and the promise and the agreement and the things that the official world had done to the private one that she could no longer absorb without breaking the silence that had been making the absorbing possible. She told all of it in a message to his wife. Sheikh received it in a moment that was ordinary until it was not. The notification, the name she did not recognize, the opening of a message from a person she had felt the shape of for years without ever having a name for, and then the reading, each sentence of it adding to the picture that the feeling had been building without specifics for the entire duration of the marriage. She read the message in the way that people read things, that are confirming their worst suspicion and giving it a shape it did not previously have. Slowly at first, and then faster, and then slowly, again at the parts where the content required that the reading slow down. She read it completely, and then she read it again. And the picture that was complete by the end of the second reading was the one she had been building without knowing it since the first day of the official life. Hamdan found out that the message had been sent in the way he always found out things that happened in the private world, not from the people who had managed the private world, but from the consequences of what had happened there arriving in the official one. Sheikha came to him with the message. Or rather, she came to him with the truth of what the message contained, which was different from the message itself in the way that a confirmed truth is different from the communication that confirmed it. She came with what she now knew. And he, who had been managing the two worlds with the specific effort that years of managing had built into something practiced and automatic, found himself in the position that the management had always been designed to prevent, both sides of the line standing in the same space, with a message between them that had made the line itself invisible. The management was activated. Of course it was. The palace responded to the breach the way it responded to all breaches. Immediately, efficiently, with the specific tools that institutions bring to situations that have moved outside the boundaries of what the managed story can absorb. But some things cannot be managed after the fact. The message existed. The truth it contained existed. Shaker's knowledge of the full picture existed. And the knowledge, once given, once received, once read twice, in the specific way that things are read when they are being understood, rather than simply processed, could not be called back by any management that the palace deployed. The message had done what she sent it to do. Why did she send it? That is the question that exists underneath everything else in this story. Not why she had the reasons she had. Those are clear enough. But why, after years of the private world requiring silence, she chose the specific action of sending a message to the wife? The answer is probably simpler than the complexity of the situation suggests. She sent it because she was tired of the silence being the thing that allowed the official world to keep managing the private one into a shape that served the official world rather than the people inside the private one. She sent it because she was a person who believed that the truth should not be the exclusive property of the people with enough power to suppress it. She sent it because sometimes the only way to change the shape of an impossible situation is to give the truth to the person who most needs it and who has been most deliberately kept from having it. She sent the message, and everything changed. In the way that everything always changes when the truth, which has been there the whole time, which has always been real, finally arrives in the hands of the person the official world had decided was not permitted to have it. Subscribe to this channel and hit the bell. Every week I bring you the real story of Sheikh Hamdan, the messages that crossed the line, the truths that arrived in the hands of the people who needed them most, and The moments when the private world finally spoke directly to the official one and changed the shape of everything that came after.